Somewhere in the lush forest of Pinehurst, Idaho, a strange figure emerges from the dense foliage, seemingly materializing out of thin air. The townsfolk had heard stories of a creature known as Slenderman, a monstrous being that was rumored to dwell in the depths of the forest, preying upon those who dared to wander too far from the safety of their homes. As the figure walks deeper into the woods, it begins to sense an eerie presence looming over it. The trees seem to close in around it, as if the very forest itself is trying to keep its secrets hidden. The air grows colder, and the hairs on the back of its neck stand on end. Suddenly, a twig snaps, breaking the silence of the forest. The figure whirls around, ready for battle, but it is met with nothing but the stillness of the night. The creature is real, and it must be stopped. Stands atop a hill overlooking the once majestic forest. His eyes narrow as he takes in the sight before him, the forest, now little more than a twisted mass of blackened trees and charred earth, stretching out as far as the eye can see. A sense of foreboding settles heavily in his stomach, for it is here that the Slenderman makes its home. He grips the hilt of his great sword tightly, readying himself for the battle that awaits him. As he makes his way through the desolate landscape, he begins to hear strange whispers on the wind. At first, they are little more than a distant murmur, but as he draws nearer to the heart of the forest, they grow louder and more distinct. The whispers seem to emanate from the very trees themselves, as if the forest is alive with the knowledge of the creature that lurks within its depths. The knight shivers, feeling a chill run down his spine, but he steels his resolve, determined to rid the world of this malevolent force. Finally, he reaches the clearing where the Slenderman is known to dwell. The air is thick with tension, and every sense is heightened as he prepares to face the creature. The Slenderman, towering over him at nearly 10 feet tall, emerges from the shadows, its spindly limbs and long, flowing tentacles swaying gently in the breeze. Its featureless, pale face stares impassively at the night, seemingly unaffected by the terror it inspires in all who behold it. The knight takes a deep breath, steadying his nerves, and readies himself for battle. Determined to rid the forest of this menace, the knight continues his search. Hours pass, and he begins to lose hope. Just as he is about to turn back, he sees a flicker of movement out of the corner of his eye. Before he can react, the Slenderman appears, standing tall and ominous before him. The creature hisses, revealing sharp, jagged teeth, and readies itself for battle. The knight grits his teeth and readies his weapons, a greatsword, a flail, and a kukri. The battle begins, and the two combatants circle each other warily. The Slenderman's speed and agility are unmatched, but the knight's skill and strength are formidable. For what seems like an eternity, they fight, neither gaining an advantage. Finally, the knight manages to land a powerful blow, sending the Slenderman flying through the air. The creature lands on its feet, however, and readies itself for another attack. As the fight rages on, the knight begins to notice strange occurrences. There are long stretches of silence, during which he can hear nothing but the sound of his own breathing and the beating of his heart. It is as if the very forest itself is holding its breath, waiting to see who will emerge victorious from this deadly duel. Suddenly, the Slenderman lunges at the knight, claws extended. The knight narrowly avoids the attack, but the creature's speed and agility are unnerving. He must find a way to end this fight quickly, before it has a chance to overpower him. Drawing upon all his strength and skill, the knight launches a furious assault against the Slenderman. He swings his great sword with all his might, forcing the creature back several steps. It claws at him, leaving deep gashes in his armor, but the knight remains unfazed. He spins around, swinging his flail and then his great sword again, striking the Slenderman with such force that it sends the creature tumbling through the air. The Templar follows up his attack, leaping through the air and landing heavily on the Slenderman with his flail. The creature writhes in pain, but it is not finished yet. With its last ounce of strength, it lunges at the knight, its claws slicing through the air with deadly precision. The knight dodges the attack at the last moment, rolling out of the way just in time. Comes behind the Slenderman and suplexes it. The fight now reaches a fever pitch as both combatants are exhausted and battered. The Slenderman lunges again, claws extended, but the knight is ready for it this time. He parries the attack with his great sword, pushing the creature back several steps. Then, with a swift motion, he draws his kukri and throws it with deadly accuracy. The blade sinks deep into the Slenderman's chest, and with a guttural groan, the creature collapses to the ground, lifeless. The knight stands over the fallen creature, panting heavily, as the last rays of sunlight filter through the trees. He has done it. He has defeated the Slenderman. With a heavy heart, he knows that he must now return to the village and share the news. But for now, he allows himself a moment of peace, standing amidst the ruins of the forest that once was home to the Slenderman. As he stands there, he snaps the creature's neck to make sure it's dead. He then looks for the road that leads to the village. When he finally arrives, is a sight for sore eyes. The people are overjoyed to see him alive, and they quickly gather around to hear his tale. He tells them of the battle, of the creature's speed and agility, and of how he eventually managed to defeat it. But most importantly, he tells them that the threat has been eliminated, and that they no longer have to live in fear.